بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف المرسلين. Welcome you all to this spring conference, and I hope you have enjoyed your winter break. And I would like to welcome Professor Marshall and thanking her for coming today all the way from UK to join us in this event. I'm going to talk about building on our present to innovate our future. So how do we move from present to future? I'll try to do my best to summarize, and I would like to walk you through some of the initiatives that we have and what is our expectations in the coming up years. So we will start by how we got started, and we'll focus a brief about HCT version 2. What is it about? Although there is a session later on by Dr. Abdullatif, the Deputy Vice Chancellor for Strategic, where he will highlight in more details the version 2 of HCT and the 4 strategic directions. And then we will talk a little bit more about what we have done so far, the major initiatives, and how did it impact our education system. And then we'll conclude with how do we get even better by looking forward in the total synergy and the decision-making process. In summary, the version 2 is to capitalize on our strength. It is how do we become the #1 choice of employers in UAE. And this is what the version 2 is all about. HCT have started for 28 years, and within the past 28 years, a lot has been done to this organization. It has really impacted the UAE culture in terms of the technical education. And when it was first introduced back in 1988 with the leadership of His Highness Sheikh Nahyan, has really changed the concept of technical education in UAE, and he is the founder of this organization. And now we are at stage to cope with the changes that are happening outside to ensure our programs are meeting the challenges we are facing with the outcomes that is needed for the country to handle the different sectors and with the labor market. And we know that is kind of a moving target in terms of the outcomes that is needed, and how do we cope those changes and how do we integrate it into our education system. So the version 2 is how do we build in our strength, we build in our past, we build in our history and the achievements that HCT has for the past 28 years, and how do we move forward. And there are 4 strategic directions that we would like to emphasize on in this change that we are going through. Let's start with the relevant, aligned, and flexible curriculum, and I think this is what's the strength of HCT, is that we have to be flexible to adapt to the changes that is needed of the labor market, and how do we cope with the outcomes to ensure our graduates meeting the requirements of the labor market and the different sectors. So we do have flexible curriculum to ensure all the competencies are integrated into our curriculum and to our contents, and to have a multiple exits for our students, because different students have different strength and different interest, starting with the diploma level to the bachelor level, with multiple options for an exit options for our students. It's an important. We need to remember always that as higher colleges of technology, we are the biggest governmental institution in the country academically, and we have about 22,000 students, and those students coming with different capabilities, different interests, different background, and we need to ensure that every one of them is counted with an option to enable to exit with the right outcomes and competencies to be able to contribute to the country development. So we do have that flexibility into our programs. In another strategic direction, we need to ensure excellent faculty, technology and research-based learning methods. We're all aware that we are dealing with the so-called iPad generation, a generation that deals heavily with the technology. They are part of their life day to day. How do we ensure our programs and our pedagogy of teaching is, the technology is embedded and it attracts students and it engaging students, and how do we make students are more interested into learning? And this is one of the challenges we all face as a faculty and in different academic institutions to ensure our the way we teach, we deliver our instructions is really engaging, and to get those students are interested into the subjects. And this is where an excellent faculty and technology research-based learning methods is important. And the third part of direction also is the effective and efficient campus educational system. That's another important strategic direction we would like to focus on, and to ensure that we have a standardized system among all of our campus. We know we have 17 campuses with different locations in different locations. And how do we ensure our outcomes are met uniformly among all the campuses with the different programs? And this is one of the challenges. We ensure that there is a system of campuses that ensuring the outcomes are met. And of course, the fourth strategic direction is having a healthy, sustainable wellness, promoting campus environment. Now, if we go into the major initiative that has been introduced, and I'm going to go through this quickly, what we have done so far, there are 6 major areas that I'm going to highlight here, and I'm going one by one on what's the initiatives that has been introduced. So if we started with the enhancing the government structure, we are all aware that there is a new board of trustees has been established for about 2 months ago. There is also, to ensure that there is an enhancement of the governance structure, there is now a uniform campus organizational structure that's already in place, and that is to ensure that all of our programs are, and all our operations are standardized. There has been an expanded role of the executive deans that include the direct responsibility to uniform curriculum and delivery, and I know executive deans are really moving toward that kind of task and duties to ensure that uniformity is taking place in terms of the curriculum delivery. In terms of the student related, there has been introduced a new elected student council and bylaws, and they are important stakeholders in our organization. And with this bylaws, I think it will help us also to improve our educational system. Standardization of HCT official jobs, and this is one thing we have done from the operational side and the support service side, that we ensure all of our job titles are uniform across the campuses. There's also another forum where we have engaged with the directors from different campuses and with the head of support services to get continuously their feedback and their comments, their inquiries into an open forum where we try to continuously enhance and respond to the issues they have on the operational side. And the internal capabilities, so we have worked very also in improving our policies by introducing a new and revising some of the existing policies to ensure consistently and meeting the outcomes. We have also launched the HADF program, that is to nationalize the faculty members, and we have recruited a good number of Emiratis faculties, and they are going through a very thorough training, professional development program, and that is in collaboration with the Higher Education Academy. And this is to bring some number of local nationals into our faculty members. In terms of also building internal capabilities, there is an academic leadership and management development workshop and training is being conducted and is going to be conducted in the near future to bring up the level of the management and the leadership of our staff. External alignment, we have introduced the voluntary Students Community Service Program, and this is something new where we make sure our contribution from our students to the local community is taken place by having 100 community hours to serve during their study, aligning our programs with the CA accreditation. And part of that requirement to ensure all of our faculty have earned and have the equivalency degree required by the Ministry of Higher Education, and that is mandated by CAA. Aligning with the National Qualification Authority, that's another key important factor where I know many of our faculty, program chairs, and executive deans are working very hard to ensure all of our program meeting the expectation of the National Qualification Framework. In addition that also we have to align from the support services side with the Federal Authority of Human Resources to ensure all of our system when it comes to HR is inconsistent with the federal laws. So the major initiatives also, we have higher expectations among the qualifications of our faculty by having to go through different training programs, and also the accreditation that is continue to happen. And this is all, these initiatives are already in place and already there's a progress. Assessment is another important area where they have been a complete revamp of assessment, and that's by having the standardized final exam. And we are proud that the previous semester we have a big percentage of our courses have followed the standardized final exam, and we need to build on that, and we need to learn from what we have done, and maybe the shortcoming of certain practices, then we need to correct it and to ensure the final exams are being standardized. And this is one of the key elements that we always being inquired by the CA accreditation to ensure the outcome of different campuses in different locations are meeting the same standard outcome in the same program. The cyclical program review, that's one of the things we have introduced, and we make sure that all of our academic programs are continuously being reviewed comprehensively by external reviewers, and this is to continuously improve into our program's outcome. Quality assurance, there is a comprehensive quality assurance manual to ensure uniform and system-wide evaluation of effectiveness and of academic and non-academic operation. And the fifth part of the professional award and opportunities, we also recognize the hard work of our faculty and our staff, and that's why this year, for the first time, we implemented the Employees Performance Award system, and many of you have received the bonus on last month payroll, and this is part of recognition of the hard work of all of our staff and faculty. We also facilitate and encourage participation in international professional development, so we have introduced a very important element that we would like to encourage all of you to participate in an international conferences through a presentation or a poster, and this is an important part to continuously develop and to be able to learn from and to communicate and to network with the people of your expertise in the field. Excellence and Distinguished Faculty Award System, there is we get the approval from the Board of Trustees, and this is going to be launched also this year, and there will be a circular about it. There will be a distinction award for faculty, and there will be a Chancellor award for recognized faculty and for distinguished faculty, and also for staff for their contribution to the to HCT. The sixth part is maximizing effectiveness and efficiency. So we are very proud today that we have the UK Higher Education Academy with us, officially on board, helping us to provide high-level professional training for our staff. And Professor Marshall will talk in more details about what this will add value to you as a faculty. And this is something we are very proud to launch today. We also encourage competent faculty to take a part-time role into the training, into teaching and learning, and we have talked with Dr. David Kennedy about encouraging you if you want to take part of those kind of training programs in teaching and learning. We have also more central overseeing and monitoring of a major faculty and curriculum activities to ensure the effectiveness, and that's by this now the sector that is headed by Dr. Gill in the academic affairs there are two positions been introduced, the Dean of Faculty and the Dean of Program and Curriculum, to ensure all of our programs meet the expectations and the outcomes. This year also we plan to introduce summer programs or summer courses for our students and for external students. This is one of the new initiatives. Also will engage our faculty into introducing those programs to the local community. So, in looking forward, I'll move to the third part of the presentation. How do we get even better? Now, there are many changes is coming up in the coming years and for the next decade, and that's going to impact heavily our life. So there are some major technology trends that are already impacting the world of higher education. And with this introduction of the new technology is going to impact the higher education because it's going to be part of our life. How do we look into those technology and how do we make it an integral part of our education system? The labor market is going to seriously change in the coming years. And by this chart, what we are showing here is that there's an estimate of 65% of first graders today will work in jobs which do not exist today. So how do we prepare our graduates for jobs that does not yet exist? How do we cope with the challenges that we are facing in the coming years? And that is going to impact human life in terms of the technology that will be introduced. It's going to change the labor market in terms of the competencies that is needed, and it's going to change the business model itself. And how do we cope with that? So working with this information, we need to have a generation of graduates that acquire making sense of information for use, solving an unstructured problem, and also how do we do a non-routine manual tasks. And to summarize that, there is a trend of changes that will be introduced, and what I'm having here on this slide is showing in the coming decade, those technologies going to be introduced, not has been hypothesized, I would say, and it is not something, it's still in the research and development phase. Those technologies are in the commercialization phase. So we expect by 2018 there will be a storage for all. And that's, imagine having a storage available for all across the globe, how it will impact the information that we receive. And in 2021, robots that will be part of our services, that for example, in the sales and retailers and many of the services jobs will be replaced, in fact, by robots. 2022, the Internet of Things, wearable internet, 3D printing manufacturing is going to be seriously impacting our life. So you have sensors, you enter any location, you have those sensors count, for example, the individual that sits in this auditorium, looks into their profile, have it immediately up-to-date information that will be available, and this is where the Internet of Things is going to impact our life. Wearable devices, where you are recognized in any location. You walk around through those wearable devices, and you read the profile of the individual in front of you through those kind of wearable devices. The 3D printing manufacturing, we know that is already in existence, but what's going to happen in the near future, we will have more of a wearable, 3D printing manufacturing of different devices, of different goods that will be accessible through the 3D printing. And imagine how this will impact the business environment and the business model. So going to the shops and trying to shop around for certain goods where it can be accessible through 3D printing in-house, and you just download the code of that device or that good, and it's being manufactured right there. Also the impact that we're talking about in 23, implementable technologies, big data for decisions, having access to all these different information, vision as the new interface, our digital presence, governments and the blockchain supercomputers in your pockets. And in fact, what we have today in our pockets, we do have a supercomputer, which are those mobile phones. And in fact, in UAE, we are one of the countries that have the highest mobile phones at the global level. And if we're talking about today, there are 2 billion mobile phones. People carry about 2 billion mobile phones. And how those supercomputers are impacting our life in the near future, it will be even way more. And in fact, even these devices will be something of an obsolete within the next 5 to 10 years, because the mobile is going to change and the technology is going to impact our future. So we're talking about also in 24, 3D printing for human health. So we expect a liver transplant, for example, to take place by having a liver made from a 3D printing for different individual. So it's going to impact the biomedical sector. It's going to impact heavily in our hospitals. The connected homes, so a lot of appliances in our homes will be automated and will be managed through those different technologies. And 25, the 3D printing and consumer products is going to go to the higher level. So we expect 3D printing of manufacturing cars. In fact, even houses will be done through a 3D printing. Artificial intelligence and white-collar jobs, the sharing economy, and again, the artificial intelligence where it's automate your pattern without going to have encode it. And I think this is one of the things that is going to be heavily introduced in the coming, or in the near future. In 26, driverless cars and smart cities. What do we mean by that? Most of our vehicles is going to be automated, and there is no need for drivers. So that will vanish completely, this kind of skills and jobs, that the driver's jobs. Smart cities, so we expect in the cities where there are 50,000 population, there will be no traffic lights. So the transportation, because the cars are being automated and they read the sensor of each other's, so there will be more safer roads, and it will be more efficient for commuting from one location to another. The artificial intelligence and the decision making, so we expect to have, for example, a robot sits in a board of directors to give decisions and to make decisions based on the information that they read it instantly through those different sensors that's available in different locations, and in fact to give a wise decision rather than other board members. So we expect to have those kind of artificial intelligence board members to sit among the board of directors. All these is going to seriously change our life and going to revamp our life from the social part and from the economical part and from the educational as well. So how do we prepare? We have to read the future in order to be able to prepare graduates 5 years from now. They will be facing those challenges. So we cannot teach them the traditional way of our teaching. And this is why we need to look into the future. We need to read what the future is coming up to and how those technologies are going to impact our life in many different aspects. So there is a serious number, a set of skills to cope with those challenges. And it's already been identified by the World Economic Forum. There are about 16 different types of skills and can be categorized in 3 different areas, from the foundational literacies to competencies to charter qualities. And those are an essential skills, because what we teach our students today is not the knowledge. The knowledge is available at a fingertip where the students can access information easily with all the technology that's available around them, but how the competencies to be able to analyze this information and how do we critically assess this information. So with these 16 different skills, we need to ensure that it is embedded into our curriculum, into our programs, and it is part of our learning process. Ability to critically evaluate and convey knowledge, it's important through the critical thinking. Charter qualities, for example, ability to tackle a changing environment, because we know we work in a very dynamic world, a very dynamic environment with the impact of the technology. And I think with those kind of sets of skills, if we are able From now, we look into it and we ensure that it is integrated into our curriculum, into our program. We'll be able to prepare our graduates for the coming future that is technology is going to change and to impact our life. So how this is being done, and these are just some ideas to throw around for education institutions to prepare themselves and their students for the technology innovation. We need to foster students' interest in technology and innovation through different conferences, workshops, competitions, and curriculum design to engage students on exciting technology innovation across various fields. Immersing students into a technology innovation, and that's by encouraging them to use different innovative technology tools for classroom activities and so on. Leverage technology innovation to drive productivity. I think that's also to streamline our academic process. All these different ways that we can tackle and to ensure the technology is being an integral part of the student's life into our learning process. Now, HCT to move forward and to prepare and to equip ourselves for this future, we need to focus in 5 different areas, and this is part of our strategic plan and the version 2 that Dr. Adil will highlight. So we will have the students will be equipped with we need to have our students equipped with the 21st century skills, innovate, partnership with external stakeholders. This is an essential component to ensure our stakeholders are on board with us in all our programs and to meet their expectations. Highly engaged and high-performing staff and faculty. This is important that to make sure our faculty to cope with those technologies, to cope with those challenges, and to be aware of it, and to ensure how the technology being effectively used into our classroom. Technology and innovation leverage in learning environment. This is, I just highlighted. And to efficiently allocate funds to strategic priority to ensure the funding is being allocated and efficiently used. Now, the total synergy of the 4 divisions, as many of you are aware that we have 4 divisions that is into our structure of org chart of the organization. It starts with the division of strategy and communication, which is headed by Dr. Adil, and that is to set the targets, strategic planning, external relation, and partnership. And from that, we extract the division of administration, which is headed by Khulud Al-Mualla, to target and to ensure the target support in terms of personnel, IT, and financial infrastructure are met. And this is lead us to the academic specific target planning and evaluation, which is headed by Dr. Gill. And this division is the academic affairs to ensure the standardization of our programs, accreditation requirements, the national qualification framework, and the external stakeholders' expectations are met in terms of those competencies we just highlighted. And of course, the key element at the end of the day is to deliver this on the operational side at the campus level, which is headed by Dr. Ali. And this campus-specific target implementation and assessment to ensure all these outcomes are met and it is already been implemented at the campus level. So we are moving from a system of campuses to campus system. What do I mean by that? Is that we used to have a system of campuses where there is some kind of random policy implementation and ad hoc problem fixing, isolated pockets of improvement that do not reflect on the system, different processes of benchmarking that results in a diverse expectation, and we need to move to campus system. What campus system I mean by that, there is a central system of governance that is focused and efficient, ensure uniformity for support structure, allow for clear and effective decentralized governance, facilitates system-wide teaching standards, facilitate discipline-wise research, campus-wise community engagement that are all aligned with the institutional expectations. So the next phase, we are moving from a system of campuses to campus system to ensure that we have the standardization and the outcomes are met uniformly among all the systems. So following up on a decision-making process that ensures what we are, start with the vision alignment, that we want to make sure that we are doing the right thing, and then converting that vision alignment to a policies and regulation by doing them the right way and getting them done well through internal processes and efficiency. And we ensure that our stakeholder satisfaction and KPIs are met by achieving our target. So this is the process we are following into ensuring the decision making. So some final thoughts, and I hope I am still on time. What we need from you. What we need from you as a faculty and the staff, that we need you to keep HCT always in mind. Taken an institutional wide perspective, not bounded by discipline, campus, or administrative unit. So it's not, you don't work in silos. You work within a system, and there are some decisions, some directions. We need all to move together as one team. Ensure that we have a two-way communication. I want you to get involved. Provide feedback. Ask questions as we continue our transformational journey. It's important that we get your feedback all the time. Get your comments. If something that you think it's not really feasible or is not applied, or you don't understand the concept behind it, while we are going in this direction, ask questions. So get engaged. We do not have any other alternatives except to proceed. Why I'm saying this? Because the transformational journey is not a choice, but rather a governmental mandate for all the federal institutions at the UAE level. Like I said at the beginning of my talk, we are going through some changes at the countrywide level. There is a mandate from our government, from our leadership. So the transformation we are undergoing is not a choice. It's a must for all academic institutions in the country. And we are going to continue to lead, given all kinds of global changes and challenges. We understand we are dealing with a generation that is very challenging. The students we are teaching today is totally different from the students we had just 5 years ago. We all know, we are aware of that. We need to get them engaged into the learning process. We need to ensure that they really achieve the outcomes. The HCT version 2 is indeed a win-win situation for all involved. For us as an institution, for the stakeholders, and for the whole nation. So the plan put together, version 2, is very serious. We are all committed for it, and we are all moving toward achieving the goals of version 2. I would like to conclude with His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan, the Crown Prince of Abu Dhabi. In our last government summit, he made a very important statement. When he said, in 50 years from now, we're going to deliver the last barrel of oil. Are we going to be saddened by delivering the last barrel of oil, or are we going to celebrate? And he made a very important statement. He said, we're going to celebrate if we made our bed and education is right, and if we deliver our education right. We are moving toward a knowledge-based economy which mandate the interest in human capital, mandate us to invest in a human capital by providing them the highest quality of education. And I would like to remind you that in this country, every individual, every student, whether a male or a female, is counted. Every head is counted. So we cannot afford to lose students from the education system. And it is our responsibility and duties as the education system here to ensure our students succeed and to ensure the students are equipped with the right competencies and with the right outcomes to be able to contribute to the country development. And our leadership, His Highness, is always emphasizing they are providing us as an entity here, as an education entity in this country, with all the support that is needed to make this happen. So we have no excuse whatsoever to fail. We have to be able to cope with the changes, and this is, I think, what makes us all excited to work in an academic organization, because it's a changing environment, and we can innovate our learning or our teaching pedagogies. We have to come up with new ideas, with innovative ideas to be able to attract this generation into learning process and to ensure that they are really achieving that is the outcome that is needed, and to achieve the vision of our leadership and our government. So I thank you for being a good listeners today. Maybe I had longer than I should. We have many other important talks by Professor Marshall in another maybe 10 minutes, and maybe Dr. Adil also will brief us later on the version 2 in more details. And we will conclude the day by having different also parallel sessions that will be running with the Higher Education Academy is helping us to deliver those training programs because we are engaging with them formally. So I'm very proud of, again, with this relation with the Higher Education Academy from the UK. And this is, I think, a value added to all of you, because I leave Professor Marshall maybe to explain later on what this will make different to you and to your career progression as well. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you around later on.